Hi, I'm Mike, PokeTips Mike, and Pokemon Sword and Shield versions are less than a month away from being released worldwide. And since these games are releasing so soon, it feels like every day now we're learning something new about them. Like just yesterday, we found out that these games are going to be over 10 gigabytes in size, making them the largest Pokemon games ever by far. So it's pretty safe to say there's still a lot of stuff about these games that Nintendo and Game Freak have not shown us. However, a very interesting leak has popped up on 4chan, where a user named Parasect claims to know a lot about the games. And I really mean a lot. In their post, they claim to know the exact number of total Pokemon in Sword and Shield, all of the new Pokemon, lots of details about the story, and even who the champion is. Now, like always with all of these leaks, there's a very high chance that somebody is making this stuff up and none of it's true. However, the games are less than a month away. This leak does seem decent enough that somebody did put a lot of thought and time into it where it might be real, and we already have had a real leak happen this year with the Parasect Leak, so you never know. Spoiler warning just in case this is a real leak, and if it's not a real leak, we'll know pretty soon since we're bound to get new information about these games any day now. Do me a favor and smash that like button right now, and let's jump right into the leak. Now, like I said before, this leak originated on the website 4chan from a user called Parasect. Now, by the time I wanted to start recording this video, the original post had been deleted. However, somebody did take a screenshot of basically the whole thread, and you can see here, it was in question and answer format, where people would ask this leaker some questions, and they would go ahead and try to answer it and tell us about the game. Pokedex-wise, the main things you'll want to know here is the leaker claims there are 651 total Pokemon in Sword and Shield, with 73 of those Pokemon being completely brand new. So if we do some quick math here, with 809 Pokemon already and 73 new ones, that would bring the total number of Pokemon after Sword and Shield come out up to 882. And out of those 882, 661 make it into the game, with the rest being cut. There was somebody awesome enough to take all the Pokemon that this Parasect leaker described and put them onto this little Pokedex graph. So now we have a very good idea about basically 60 of the 73 claimed Pokemon in Sword and Shield. Now, even though there's lots of details about the story of returning characters in this leak, what I really want to focus on in this video are the brand new leaked Pokemon and the Pokedex part of this whole big leak. A lot of people asked this Parasect leaker to tell them about some of the new Pokemon in the game, and they gave us a lot of details. Then, with all that information they gave us, somebody put together a nice little Pokedex graph showing all the Pokemon we've had revealed for Sword and Shield and all the Pokemon this leaker just told us about. And combining that all together, this brings us up to 64 possible Pokemon that we know about for Sword and Shield. Although it looks like this Pokedex doesn't include the Galar forms like Zigzagoon and Ponyta. And with all of that together, assuming this leak is true, we know about 64 out of the 73 Pokemon in Sword and Shield. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Pokedex leak. So starting things off at the top of the Pokedex, like always, you have the grass starter, Grookey, and its evolutions. Now what I find the most interesting here is this leaker, the Parasect leaker, says that Grookey's final evolution is going to be grass and rock type. Now that totally contradicts the leak that I covered a few days ago, where the wise man said it was going to be grass and normal type, so somebody's lying here. Also, one more thing to note, all of these pictures for Pokemon that haven't been revealed yet are all fan-made drawings or fan-made pictures. These aren't what they're really going to look like. Now onto the Scorbunny family, this leaker is saying that it's going to evolve into a fire and steel type Pokemon. Now that's kind of weird since the Parasect leaker told us that Scorbunny's evolution was going to be a pure fire type. However, they could have just been talking about the first evolution, and the second evolution might get that bonus type. Fire steel though, that would be weird. And onto the Sobble family, it looks like on this leak, Sobble is supposed to be a water and ghost type. I could definitely see the ghost type working on Sobble's final evolution, since it's supposed to be a chameleon and a spy. The ghost type definitely gives it those qualities. So after the starters, we see Squovet and Greedunce, the two squirrel Pokemon that have been teased in the background of the trailers but have not officially been revealed yet. According to the Parasect Leaker, they're both going to be the ground type, which I could totally see happening. After that, we have a few new Pokemon, Corviknight and Corviknight. Corviknight will eventually evolve into Corviknight. I know the design for Corviknight is fan-made, but I really like it and I wish it was real. Wooloo is supposed to get an evolution called a Ramabam, and that sounds like something straight out of the Flintstones. Now next we have a bunch of Pokemon we've already seen. Gossifleur, Eldegoss, Morpeko, Cramorant, Dreadnought, Alcremie, Yamper, and we know Yamper is going to get an evolution. I made a whole video on Yamper's evolution and how I think it's been teased in Sword and Shield. Check that out, I'll have it in the description. But after that we have Roly-Poly and Roly-Poly's evolution, which they don't know the name of, but apparently it's supposed to be rock and fire and look like a motorcycle. I mean, we have an ice cream cone Pokemon and a keychain Pokemon, so I guess nothing's really out of the realm of possibility, but a motorcycle Pokemon? Don't think I'd like that. But I do like this next one, Banty. So Banty would be the pre-evolution to Poltegeist if this leak is real, and I could definitely see Poltegeist being like an evolved form for a Pokemon. Impidimp is apparently going to evolve into a Pokemon named Spriverly, I think that's how it's supposed to be said, and it looks kind of freaky. There's our Duraludon, which we already know about, and ooh, this one's kind of cute, Sneasqueak, which looks like it's a poison mouse-type Pokemon, or a poison rat, which evolves into Kingsqueak, a poison and dark rat. Now after that we see lots of evolutions here, Obstagoon, Sirfetch'd, and a new one, Rigaraf, which honestly I love the concept of what's going on there. A pure dark type, it looks like the backside of Girafarig like took over and made it evil. I love that. If this is real, I'll be so happy. Chatot's also supposed to get an evolution, I guess, electric and flying type. I do not see Chatot evolving into an electric type, that would be kind of weird. And last but not least, it looks like only 5 Pokemon are getting special evolutions in Sword and Shield, and one of them would be going to Meowth. Meowth would be evolving into a Pokemon called Felixity, a normal and ghost-type Pokemon. If this is true, that would be kind of weird how Meowth got an Alolan form back in Sun and Moon, and then a special evolution in Sword and Shield. Wouldn't be too happy about that. I feel like it could definitely go somewhere better like Dunsparce, instead of giving Meowth something else. And now we're getting to a bunch of totally new Pokemon, so these would be really cool if they're real. We have a bug water type named Caddisfly, and then it evolves into a bug dragon dragonfly Pokemon. Flygon, where you at? Then there's Knoll and Nolosis. I'm not sure if you're supposed to say the G in there. I'm thinking it's like gnome where you don't say gnome. But anyway, these would be rock and fairy type Pokemon. I feel like you could find these things either in like a mystical cave or the Glimwood Tangle Forest. I guess this will be the regional bug Pokemon. They don't have the name for it, they just call it Ant. And then if it's a female, it would evolve into a bug psychic Pokemon, or if it's male, it would evolve into a bug flying Pokemon. Kind of reminds me of Wurmple and like Silcoon and Cascoon, although it would be cool to see that happen again in Generation 8. Next we have Ribbix and Hypnoxis, which would be poison and psychic frog Pokemon. Kind of weird not having them be water type, but I guess we have enough water type frogs. I could totally see a frog being a poison type, but a psychic frog, that would be kind of weird to me. Then we have our little water steel elephant Pokemon that Chairman Rose sent out one time in a battle, but we haven't officially seen it yet. And this looks really cool down here, the Sabertooth Pokemon, a rock and ice type. Ooh, I love that typing combination, that seems awesome. I know that dinosaur Pokemon that I'm not sure how to pronounce its name is rock and ice type, but I would love to see it on another Pokemon, especially one that looks fast like this. I feel like rock and ice would be a really good attacking type, so that would be awesome to have. Then we have a few weird ones here. 2 woolly rhino Pokemon, so a base form and then something it would evolve into, a headless Pokemon, a snowman Pokemon, and yet another line of bat Pokemon, because we definitely need more of those. And then finally for regular Pokemon, we have these little things that were seen in a trailer before. I guess they're calling it Intimidation. I'm not sure if that's a name or a placeholder right now, but apparently these things are supposed to be normal and fairy type. Now personally, I'm not even convinced that they're actually Pokemon. I feel like they're more statues, so if anything makes me skeptical about this leak, it's that, including that as a Pokemon, but who knows, maybe in a month we'll actually find out those are real Pokemon and I'm crazy. I genuinely think they're statues though. Now on to the legendary Pokemon of the game. It looks like the trio that you run into is going to be based off of the mythical creature Minotaur. I remember when I was playing one of the Zelda games as a kid, there was like this Minotaur boss and it freaked me out. And I don't know why, just seeing like a Minotaur potential Pokemon reminded me of that experience. And once again, we see some more conflicting information down here with Zacian and Zamazenta's types. They say Zacian is water and steel type, and Zamazenta is fire and steel type. And again, I'm not really seeing water steel or fire steel. I guess because of their design, Zamazenta has a lot of red on it, so I guess that's where the fire comes in, and Zacian has a lot of blue, so that would be where the water comes in. But I don't see these things using like Fire Blast or Surf. I also think it would be very dangerous for Zacian to surf around with a giant sword in its mouth. That just seems awful. And last but not least, they're saying Eternatus is a poison and ground type, which would be insanely weird for a legendary Pokemon. Although at this point, I think poison is like the only Pokemon type that does not have a legendary Pokemon, as long as you're not counting the Ultra Beast or Arceus holding a poison plate as a legendary. So if this leak is real, there's 73 new Pokemon for Pokemon Sword and Shield, and this is 64 of them. That leaves 9 more Pokemon that we just don't know about. They could be evolutions to some of these Pokemon, or just totally brand new Pokemon that have nothing to do with any of these existing ones. All in all, I find this very interesting and I'm pretty excited for it if it's real. Overall, if this is real, I would love to see that Rigaraf Girafarig evolution. I think it's about time that Girafarig gets something cool. And I also would really love to see that Sabertooth Rock and Ice type Pokemon. I think that would be awesome to have on my team. So in the description, I'm going to leave a link to this whole leak if you want to check it out for yourself. And if you also want me to read more about the storyline and everything, let me know and I'll make a video about that later today. I just really wanted to talk about this Pokedex leak by itself because I found it pretty interesting and I wouldn't be too upset if it turns out to be real. In the comment section, let me know if you think these leaks are real or not, and also which one of these Pokemon would be your favorite. As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, give it a thumbs up right now, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and my friends, I'll be seeing you in the next one.